Welcome back to another episode of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. I'm your host, Sports Information Director Jagger Furr. With me now is head cross country coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, you're at the West Liberty Invite on Thursday. Starting with the women, they placed fourth as a team. Natalie Barr broke her own school record again. What did you think of their performance overall?
Yeah, so first off, I took down some teams that were ranked ahead of us in the preseason poll, which always feels good. The preseason polls, they are what they are. It comes out in the wash in October anyways, and even those schools that we defeated this weekend, we can't get complacent. One of the things that was really cool, Charleston's always had a really good program, and to be within 20-25 points of them was huge. I thought that from 1 through 5 on the women's side, our spread was a lot better than it was in years past. Laura Kane had a lot to do with that. Abby Dixon really stepped up. And then, Katie Hicks had another consistent race. And Natalie besting her own school record right off the bat on a course with some hills on it. It was rainy when we got there. The men ran in perfect conditions. The women, it was the rain was parting, but the women basically warmed up in a monsoon. And, they didn't let it get to them. They kept the main thing. They went out there and raced. And, I'll say this about when we get to the men, I'll say this too. I think the biggest testament is just to the work they put in this summer when no one was watching. Their accountability day in, day out from May until we showed up in August. And then, since we've started classes, just some of the tough workouts I've thrown them through, they haven't blinked. And I really appreciate that from them. And I think we're even hungrier after Thursday for sure.
And the men were third with 7 PRs out of your top 7 performers and a pair of top 5 finishes from Pat Riley and Nick Pitchford. You also got some production out of your true freshmen down at the bottom. How do you feel the men performed?
Yeah, so one of the things that I noticed from last year when we were there, I think that the women had a really good meet at West Lib last year. I don't think our men raced quite to their potential. You got to understand, too, that last year we were relying pretty much on 5 freshmen right out of the gates, for our top 5. And, Pat obviously had a really good one last year, but Nick has really shown what his range can do in cross country. Pat and Nick ran the race, executed well. I wanted him the first 3-4 minutes to kind of hold back a little bit, see how the race unfolded after we took our first initial climb on the course. And those guys with probably about 5-6 minutes left in the race, maybe a little over a mile, we're sitting about 8th, 9th, and they came down across the road crossing, which is about 200 meters to go, and they were stride in 3rd and 4th, and just the amount of runners they picked off in the final few miles was just unbelievable. And I think it's a testament to how much they've matured along with their fitness. Nick had a great summer. Pat had a great summer. And to see Nick that close to Pat's is really going to help us have a really good 1-2 punch. Lance had a great race. He was our number 5 guy. Jackson Caden were our 3-4 guys. Luke Barr was another freshman that was up there. Landon Griffith. Will Hollins didn't have the race he wanted, but getting him some experience here in the States. And he's been battling our top 5 every workout, so I'm sure he'll move up. And when we get that kind of to mesh together, I think that's going to be really big for us. Our pack running is so much better than it was last year, which is really going to help our spread. Just overall, just a really great day on the men's side. The men were really excited, bested by Charleston and decently close to West Lib and took down some other conference schools. But there's a few coming for us, and I think there's a few to go get after looking at some weekend performances.
And you mentioned the improvements. I went back and looked at how the team started last year at this exact same meet, and it really jumps out to you. Pat moved up 2 spots from where he placed. Nick jumped 20 spots. Caden Davis 11 spots. Jackson Mallett 17 spots. All their times also saw major improvements, about 10 to 20, 30 seconds improvement. What does this show about your team as they seem to get better year by year?
Yeah, going across the board, Nick had a minute faster race than he did last year. Jackson, was about 50 seconds faster than he was last year. Caden, did not have the cross-country season he wanted last year, but if we could pick out a meet that he raced pretty decent in, it was West Lib, but still to have over a 30-second improvement. And he's always itching for more. He's never satisfied, and I think that's huge for a guy that runs in your top 5. But just outstanding. You go through the women's side, too. Sarah Lowe had a 5-minute improvement from a year ago. ago, a senior for us, one of our only seniors. And then Abby Dixon was a huge one too, in our 4 spot. I'm sorry, a minute 20 better than where she ran last year. So it helped improve the spread as well on the women's side. But just some massive improvements, like you said, from the place wise and some of the stuff I just talked about time wise. Again, I think a lot of it's, we're just at a different level of fitness. But again, I think it goes back to this maturity and just having some races under their belt. I felt like last year we were so freshman, sophomore heavy. We are right now, but to have some of those guy freshmen kind of step up, you can see that with a lot of races under their belt from track and cross country season, they're racing a lot smarter with more intent on how the outcome, how the results could fall. And I think that we're just racing a lot smarter and a lot within ourselves. And they're really just taking those golf course workouts we just finished up on. Those golf course workouts we really focus on, our tempo style workouts, our fartlek style workout, just packing it together as a team. And I think that really showed and was really big for us.
And now you won't race again until September 27th. So you have some weeks for some training. What's that training schedule look like now for the next couple weeks?
Yeah, the next few weeks I would say are going to be some of the most intense workouts that we've done, just in terms of some of the paces that we're going to try to hit and some of the efforts that we're trying to hit on our Tuesday golf course workouts. We kind of set it up this way. I felt like last year we did race one time in between West Liberty and Lock Haven, and going back to last year, I just felt like if we kind of trained through a little bit more, Lock Haven's a pretty big meet historically, and we obviously raced there for the regional. So I really want us to have a great performance when we get to Lock Haven. And we're going to see some conference schools there. So the next few weeks, they're going to be pretty brutal. But, we started with a workout today. And, just want to shout out my staff, Coach Markham, Coach Hill, Coach Clay. They were up with me at 6 a.m. this morning out at the golf course. And just to have that staff support is huge. And I think that the team's really coming together, not just from, a fitness standpoint, just from like a standpoint of they know it's got to be about each other. Mm-hmm. We're running for each other. And if we're going to accomplish the goals that we want, we've got to be close knit together as a team, and I think so far we're doing a really good job at that. But we're excited for Lock Haven. It's going to be fast and flat, and it's going to be a track meet on grass. So we got to be ready, and we got to be sharp in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and we'll talk to you here in a few weeks.
Thank you, Jagger.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now, I've had volleyball coach Kiara Perkins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, it was a big weekend for you guys. You started out the season 3-1, but first you started out with some 2 wins on Friday. You beat Bluefield State 3-0 and Chowan 3-1. The Bluefield State game was close the first set, but you guys really pulled away those final 2. And then the Chowan game, it was a really good one. I think the closest or the farthest score was about 4-point difference. What did you think of the team's performance on Friday?
I think it was definitely a good confidence that we needed going into the season, especially with when we start preseason and we're just playing against each other. It kind of gets more difficult to see like the things that we really need to keep focusing on. So I think it was a good eye opener for us especially, and really kind of helped us to see where we're at.
And then you played Carson Newman and West Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday. Lost 3-0 to Carson Newman, but you beat Wesleyan 3-2 in a thriller. Carson Newman was a really good team. I mean, they 3-0'd everybody at the tournament, and then you turned around and had a dogfight with West Virginia Wesleyan. Went back and forth, eventually won the final set 15-11. Just your thoughts on the way day 2 played out.
Even though it was a tough loss against Carson Newman, I think us being able to bounce back from that and come out with a win was pretty big for us. We talk about how volleyball is really a mental game, and to be able to come back from a loss like that and come out with a win was really, really good for us.
And now you get a long week ahead. It's 5 games. You start out with W Tech tonight, actually, before heading to Charleston for a 2-day tournament that'll consist of 4 games in 2 days. Just first with Tech, do you like the ability to play a midweek game before another big weekend?
I do like that we have the ability to play another game before our weekend with 4 more games. I think especially with the depth that we have, being able to rely on other people as well and really just help us in overall situations.
And then you'll be at the UC-WVSU crossover on Friday and Saturday. 4 teams from 3 different leagues, so you'll see a lot of different teams there. You're coming off a big weekend at home. How do you and the team feel heading into that?
I think really, I know the team feels in a good spot. I mean, this is probably one of the best starts that we've
In
had
program history, easily,
in a while. So having that on our shoulders too, but not forgetting that we do have a job to do.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
This fall, GoMart's got your chance to kick your tailgating game up a notch. Now through the end of October, enter GoMart's Get in the Game contest for your chance to win the ultimate tailgate package. Win a $200 GoMart gift card, tailgating supplies, a pop-up tent, a portable grill, and a cooler. It's everything you need to pregame for your favorite team. To be entered to win, head to your local GoMart and scan the QR code in-store. Visit the GoMart app or GoMart.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me now is head women's soccer coach J.R. Dodson. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Always great to be here.
All right, Coach, you started out the season on Sunday at Mars Hill. You got beat 1-0. You guys really controlled the game. You outshot them 17-7. You had more shots on goal, more corner kicks, etc. Just couldn't find the back of the net. What made Sunday such a struggle for you guys?
Well, yeah, a struggle to score, but I don't think it was a struggle on the field. Like you said, we dominated the game. It was fun to watch some of the combinations in the middle. I think we have to get that final third down. I think we're getting closer. It hurts not having Marcelli in there as a 10, but I thought the girls that were there did a very good job, and we're going to take a lot of positive stuff out of this. But we have a freshman up top in Solaris, and she's going to be special in the conference this year. It's her first debut as a freshman, and little nerves happening there. So I think we're going to see some big things happening soon.
And we talked about the newcomers last week as well. You played 5 in Sunday's game. You mentioned Solaris Solano. She got off 8 shots. Madalena got off 2. Maxine got off 1. How do you feel the newcomers played in their first game as a Pioneer?
Fantastic. Madalena. So after the game, we said Madalena and Schwartz. Of course, Schwartz isn't a newcomer, but we said they were players of the match for us. They really controlled that middle for us. Did a great job. Madalena is just a monster. The shot that she took, you can't see it in the stats, but it was a shot a man would have took. It was a great shot.
And then now it's a new week. It's another non-conference game on Wednesday at Ursuline. They won 4 games in 24, and they scored 5 goals against Clarion to start out the season. They're 1-1 at the moment. What have you seen out of them?
I think they're a team a lot like we just played. I think they're in your face. They go quick. They try to play over the top. Where we're more of a possession team, taking our time to get down the field. I think they're going to present a big challenge for us. I think going up there they're on a grass field where we're always used to turf, and that was purposely done, trying to get ready for when we see Wesleyan. But I think the girls will adapt.
And then you'll start out conference play on Sunday at Western Union State. But, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
All right, thank you.